Now let's get to the dungeon debate.
All right.
This is a little bit of a longer episode, but
we'll make it quick. This is a pretty simple debate. So the debate is, what is stronger? What is better, more useful? Strength or dexterity? Speed versus manly strength.
Yeah. So I definitely think dexterity is the better trait to focus on. So we're talking about which one, like if you have to choose which one to focus on, like which one to make better, do you put your higher stat in dexterity or do you put it in strength? Okay, so I think it's dexterity.
I think it's strength.
Okay, why is that?
So, just the general basis is that it depends on what class you do, but most classes it's more valuable to use strength than dexterity. For example, all melee fighters, it's important to have a high strength because the more strength you have, the more damage you do with any weapon you do. So you have to have strength.
Depends on the character.
No, but it's just the fact that if you have a high enough strength, you can use any weapon more efficiently than just dex. If that makes sense.
Sure, but
like for any melee fighter, a strength is way more important than dexterity.
I think we can agree though that when you have a character, you typically are either fighting with dex or you're fighting with strength. You know what I mean?
Most of the time, it would be with strength.
Like, strength will be useless to a rogue. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, that's the only exception because rogues are only dexterity. Fighters, barbarians, they're usually for strength.
That's it.
No, that's not it.
Those are the only ones that are...
monks
but you can even do them with dexterity. Like, dexterity can be used.
No, but you would probably... you would want to do strength because strength, you can use any weapon with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can even use the ones that you have the option of doing dexterity with. So if you do have just a beefy dwarf rogue, he could still, he can use strength with his weapon.
But he could also use dex. So what I'm saying, I think the only advantage you have here is you have a few more weapon options. But let's say you use a light weapon. A finesse weapon. Then it doesn't matter. Just use a finesse weapon, and you can use dex all you want.
Right, but basically all I'm saying is you can use any weapon you want.
Okay, I will admit that, but I think the reasons that I have for dex being better outweigh that.
Okay, so give one reason.
Okay, I'll give one. I have a couple. Okay. One is dex saving throws are much more common. Much more common. Like, they're one of the most common ones because most spells will cause a dex saving throw.
Yeah, most spells.
And so to have high dex is much more defensive than strength. Sure, strength will help you against like grappling, but creatures do not grapple nearly as much as they do for spells.
That is true. Yeah, that is a very good point why dex is very nice to have when the dragon spews its fire and when the rogue somehow dodges 300 feet of fire cone.
I think strength is actually the least used save.
I believe it's intelligence.
For
saving throws.
No, because there's some spells to do intelligence. No spells do strength. Strength is like if the building's falling on you, but
which is bad. But like it doesn't happen. But there are some creatures that use strength. So for example, most melee beasts like rhinos, triceratops mammoths, stags,
but a lot of things will do con saves.
No, that's not true.
Well, let's say your
con saves are for poisons and acid and stuff. Not acid, but poisons.
No, but things don't typically do a strength save for you to take less damage.
There are things.
It's always like
not
if
to take.
You make the strength save or you get pushed back 10 feet or something. That's typically how it
is. That's not really how it goes. Normally, it's like you have to make the strength save or you get knocked prone.
Yes, exactly.
Which is bad because then they can do a wombo.
It's not worse than like double damage on it. Okay, if we're talking saves, I don't think we need to argue this point. Dex is better with saves.
Yeah, so
okay, it is.
But I will say having good strength
a lot better.
Having good strength is good when you want to get things done.
They're all good, yes, but dex is better because it's used more.
Not used more. Generally,
as saves.
Athletics.
Oh, you're trying to say in terms of just checks now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I think.
Well, if you're talking about like the dragon spews its breath, literally 50% of the things use a dex save.
All right, this is where we're at. Strength allows you to use a couple more weapons. Agreed.
All weapons are usable and will do way more damage.
Yes, you're limited on your weapons with dex. That is true. There are still lots of options, but you're limited. When it comes to saves, though, Dexterity is better by far because it's just one of the most common saves you do all the time. And Strength is rarely done. Obviously, it's done sometimes, but compared to the others, it's rare. So now we're getting into checks. Which one is just better check-wise? I think it's still Dex.
So Dex has the more versatility of... So you have Stealth.
Stealth is huge.
Acrobatics.
Not as big.
I will explain for the Stealth part. Acrobatics and then Sleight of Hand?
Yep.
Which is the 3. For Strength, you got Athletics.
That's it.
That's
the only thing.
But Athletics, you do use a lot because that's just your physical presence.
It can always depend.
Usually, if a DM knows what he's doing, he's gonna be spamming that Athletics a lot because Athletics is used just to pick something up, to generally move things around.
I think Acrobatics is used nearly as much as Athletics.
Acrobatics is not comparable to Athletics.
Athletics is like I climb up the building. Acrobatics is I go down.
No, but the thing is, Athletics can be also like I move this thing out of the way.
Sure, but that's just
I try to lift. No, I mean that's what Athletics is for. I use to lift. So you can do a lot more with Athletics than you do with Acrobatics.
Sure,
that's true.
That's fine.
And then the other thing I will say, just generally having more strength. The Barbarian coming in, just flexing, will eradicate everything compared to the Rogue.
We're not getting into aesthetics. We're still talking checks here. Athletics is, I would say, slightly better than Acrobatics. But once you add Sleight of Hand and Stealth, it's not even a comparison. You use Stealth by itself way more than Athletics. But that's with Sleight of Hand and with Acrobatics. Those 3 combined are way more valuable than just Athletics, easily.
Well, all of them combined, yes, but you don't use all of them combined.
If you have a high Dex, all 3 of those will be higher.
If you have a high Athletics, you will generally be a better player because you will be using Athletics all the time.
No. Let's say
more than Stealth.
Let's say you have a 16 and a 10, and you have to put 1 on Strength and 1 on Dex. If you put the 16 on Dex, you've become very stealthy. You've become very deceptive with your ability to use your hands, and you can do acrobatic stuff. If you put it on Strength, yes, you have become strong, but that's it. The other one has a lot of versatility to it, and you use those 3 combined a lot more than you use Athletics. Athletics might be the most valuable one if you're comparing them all individually. I still think Stealth would probably be better.
Sleight of Hand is barely used. You barely use it.
It's mostly, we're talking Stealth here. Stealth is the big one. So Stealth and Athletics, I think, is a hard one to compare. They're both good.
I feel like you use Athletics more than Stealth.
I don't think you can say that. I think we can at least say they're tied. Stealth is used no matter what character you are. It doesn't matter.
Yes, that is true. Yes. But
so when you add a Sleight of Hand and Acrobatics, that's what tips it.
You can't really say no one really uses Sleight of Hand. It's just there for those people.
I actually love using it. It's there for people who want to use it.
Yes, who want to, but it's barely used.
But if you have Stealth and you have Athletics and they're basically tied, adding Sleight of Hand and Acrobatics, don't forget Acrobatics, to the mix just pushes Dexterity to above Strength.
Well, remember, Acrobatics is just, moving your character. Athletics is dealing with everything in your environment.
But moving can be done. Moving's a big part of it.
What do you mean?
Moving's a very valuable thing. I mean,
yes.
I understand the difference, and I understand Athletics is valuable, but I don't think it beats out the other 3.
Well, no, but the other 3, they're very situational. They are. While Athletics is just generally all the time. You want to be athletic.
But characters can characters can specialize, right? If you have a mage, if you have a rogue, there's a million different classes, that you really don't need Athletics for, because that's not what their focus is. But all of them need Stealth. Because if you have one guy who's bad at Stealth, the whole party just isn't stealthy anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, why not just have the entire party just super ripped and buff and then just charge and kill everything, which is super fun.
Because you gotta have stealth sometimes. Stealth is made for when you can't fight your way out. You gotta sneak. You know what I mean? Your players are not gods. There are things that can kill them, and especially when there's large numbers. Stealth is very important. We don't need to talk about
Stealth is very important, but sometimes there are things that just make stealth not existent. Like,
sometimes,
I don't know, some sights.
No, but
true sight, blind sight.
It doesn't matter.
A lot of things have
Every campaign will have a ton of instances where you need stealth, period. And so if you have a stupid stealth score You are a big problem. If you have a stupid strength score, you can probably find other ways around it. The wizard can probably do some spell that does the same thing. You can probably dodge instead of like take the hit. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
It is true that when you are in a party, I will admit, when you are in the party,
Yes.
and everyone's like, all right, guys, there's like 6 owlbears over there. Let's not mess with them. And you're all sneaking, and then all you hear is the clanky cleric run by.
Yeah.
What the? Oh, no. Yeah, so basically that. Another thing is you need strength to physically wear certain armors in the game. You need a strength.
Yeah, but that's, again, only going to be
If you don't
useful.
have that, that means clerics, you're useless. That means fighters and clerics need heavy armor. They specialize in heavy armor. They're supposed to be wearing heavy armor.
Well,
If you
they
think
don't
about
have
it,
to.
if you have, would you rather have a stealthy cleric or just a stupid tough cleric?
No. Some classes are better with strength than others, but I'm saying dexterity is one of those you always want to have semi-high. Some people can just completely dump strength, and it's okay. But dexterity, you can't dump. You can't.
One of the only two that you need dexterity for is rogue and monk.
No, that's what I'm saying. All of them need stealth.
Not all of. You keep talking about.
You have
stealth.
to have basic good stealth.
You see, not necessarily. If the entire party is capable in combat, strength is a lot more important than dexterity in combat.
Okay, listen.
Physical dealing damage.
They're both important, and they're obviously both going to be good for certain classes. So, yeah, you can say a cleric needs strength, and I can say a rogue needs stealth, obviously.
Strength is needed more for more classes.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
I totally disagree.
Cleric, paladin,
fighter,
barbarian.
Give a situation that most classes need strength for. Yeah.
So barbarian?
No, just
fighter.
give the situation.
Well, the first thing is paladins. All the fighting classes
give the
need the strength to wear certain armors. Number 2, they need
that's
all
a bad
of that.
example because most classes don't need heavy armor.
Yeah, well, a lot of classes do.
No, they don't.
Yes,
a lot. What is your definition of a lot?
All fighter classes want heavier armor.
Fighter classes, that's one class. The fighter.
Fighters, like barbarians.
Barbarians don't use heavy armor? Is that a joke?
What? No, all clerics and paladins too. Yes, they do.
So
that's all they are supposed to be tanks.
So fighters, clerics,
you need strength.
And paladins. That's it. That's it.
For the heavy armor, but barbarians specialize in strength.
You don't even have to have heavy armor for those. You may want it.
No.
You don't have to. Paladins, yes. Fighters do not need heavy armor. You can totally do like a medium armor or light armor and do a different sort of fighting style.
That is not even comparable. If you have a heavily armored fighter compared to a very dexterous fighter, the heavily armored one will do better. Because if he's stronger, he's going to use better weapons, better armor, which you will become a better warrior.
It doesn't.
The fact that it negates heavy armor negates stealth, puts at disadvantage, means whoever's wearing that is not going to be using stealth a lot.
Let's say.
So if you want to be generally good, let me finish. If you want to be generally good in combat, you will need strength. Saying that barbarians don't use heavy armor they are strength. That's their entire thing. So
but they don't need heavy armor. Give me a situation.
Heavy armor. What do you mean?
Your situation was heavy armor. That's not barbarian.
Well, no, but barbarians are generally just all strength. You're just negating that my one mistake.
Let's say you're right.
I am saying if you give a cleric,
I get what you're saying.
Yes.
Can I answer it now? Let's say you're completely right. Clerics, barbarians, and fighters, and paladins. Let's say those 4 all need strength. That's still not the majority of classes. They also need dexterity. And
for which ones?
All of them need to be semi-good at dexterity because every class does. Dexterity is a very important one. They're going to be having constant dexterity saving throws, and stealth is all the time.
It really depends on what you're fighting. Normally, higher beings of power use dexterity. The lower parts use strength a lot more. It always depends
what you're fighting. We're talking in averages.
No, but now we have to talk about level skills. Normally, the higher you go, the more dexterity the more dexterous you have to be. That's just facts. Not a lot of lower level things will be using dexterity saving throws. Name one lower level
stealth.
Name one. Well, then you can go kill it if you're tougher and stronger than them. Yes.
Okay, listen. Stealth and dexterity saving throws. It doesn't matter whether they increase or decrease. They are more common than anything you're using strength for. Period. Every character has to encounter them. It doesn't matter whether you're a fighter, a mage, a rogue. You will need to do a dexterity saving throw at some point, and having a high dex will help you. But it does matter whether you're a fighter, mage, or rogue if you're going to use strength. Neither the rogue nor the mage will ever need to use strength. And if they do, it'll be in a hyper rare situation. But dexterity will be used no matter who you are.
Yes, it will be used more, but generally in combat, you want to have more strength. Generally, more strength equals more damage and more tough.
But
because
we're not
you can
just
use more physical. No, we have to. Combat is a giant thing.
We're not just talking combat.
No, but yes, we are. You literally said everything you use more is dexterity. You will be using stealth in combat situations and dexterity saving throws in combat situations. Generally, if you are tougher and if you deal more damage, you want to be able to use the variety of all the strong magic items, strong magic armors available.
Paladins, fighters. Those are the only 3 that need high strength for combat.
Paladins. Not paladins, clerics.
No, they don't. They're casting spells.
Clerics need to be tough. So
that's Constitution.
No, but they also use... No, that's not... No, physically able to wear armor. Armor is very important, remember?
That's fine. But
yes. No, but let me finish.
Clerics
also use melee types of stuff.
I don't care what clerics do. That's a specific class. We're talking in averages.
I'm saying in all... If you want to be good in melee combat, period, which a lot of classes use more than magic users, then you want to have high strength. Druids don't even matter.
Magic users? What are you talking about?
Excluding magic users. There's more melee fighters.
No, but I'm not excluding magic users. Why would we exclude magic users?
Well, no, but I'm just saying in general combat, you want more strength than dexterity.
Magic users are in combat too. They are also fighting.
Well, yes, but you generally want more strength and dexterity. You will use strength in combat a lot more than dexterity.
That's not true.
That is true.
Let's take
literally everything that you use, what you wear, what you use. You cannot use certain things.
Only melee. We're not going
to actually... Not only melee.
We're not going to actually do this, but if you do the experiment, anyway, if you take each class, wizard, and say, okay, wizard, what would be better for you, dexterity or strength? So just for example, obviously a wizard would be dexterity because 1, they never need strength, and 2, those saving throws will happen. So and stealth will be used as a wizard. No matter who you are, you're going to use stealth and dexterity.
The wizard could just fireball.
So the wizard will like stealth better, will like dex better. So 1. Let's go to fighter. They're going to use strength more, I guess. They're still going to need the dex save. They're still going to need the stealth. But I guess since they use strength all the time, sure. But if we do that for every class, the dex is going to be much more common because you're going to do wizard.
Actually, name all the classes that use more dex than all the other classes.
Well, okay,
wizard. The people that would use that would use strength more.
All right, this is the last thing we're going to do. We're going to do it quick. Wizard, dex.
Okay.
Sorcerer, dex.
Okay.
Artificer, dex.
Artificer is not dex. There's a whole thing about armorer, which is all you need strength to use. Artificer and druids, you can't really compare because they can do both.
All right, fine. Artificers and druids are out then. So wizards and sorcerers, dex. Mm-hmm. Rogues, dex. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what more classes do we have? Warlock, dex.
Didn't you already say? Oh, wait, you said
sorcerer,
wizard, sorcerer, rogue.
Oh my god.
Warlock. Okay.
Dex. All right, fighter, strength.
Well, let me do the fighters. So
we're just saying strength or dex.
Strength, barbarian, cleric, paladin,
fighter. We already got the 4. Yeah.
Fighter.
Those 4. So what classes are we missing? So we have 4 and 4. Right
Monk.
Monk is dex, so that's definitely
well,
dex.
No, it kind of depends.
No. It is dex.
If you want to do more damage on your unarmored attacks, you need more strength.
Yes,
you can't use dex. Dex is only for evasion. Monks have to use... they have to have higher strength to do more damage.
You can use finesse weapons as a monk, and you will.
You do unarmored strikes. That's not finesse. That's all strength.
I'm pretty sure you can use dex for those unarmored strikes.
I don't think you can.
I think you can.
No, because unarmed is 1 plus your strength.
Think about a monk. They are dex.
No, they are strength. Think about it. They're a melee fighter. All right, they have to be strength.
What else are we missing?
I believe that's it, right? So the druids and artificers
are out. But you can fight as a dexterous fighter.
You would be more... Well, you would use...
Ranger, dex. So now we're at 6. Now we have definitely dex higher.
No, they're tied. Monk is more strength. Monk is definitely strength. You need it to do more damage. It does not matter if you're more dexterous.
I disagree with that.
No, because all unarmed strikes...
We'll let them decide. What are we missing?
I believe... So we have
it tied, I guess.
So Druid is...
Druid is dex.
Druid, they can shape.
What am I even saying? It's Dex.
It's not Dex.
It is totally Dex because if they need to deal damage, they're going to be in melee form. That's going to be as an animal, which will supply its own strength. So as a human, it's only defensive and stealth. Therefore, Dex. Druid's Dex.
Well, no, but Druids are if they want to do stealth, they'll turn into something that's stealthy. Druids are such an odd one.
There's no reason for Druid to be
I use a lot of strength for my Druid.
Okay, imagine you're a Druid in a human form. What could happen to you? Well, if you're going to do something actively, sure, you'll turn into an animal. But, so what would be something else? Oh, it would be everything defensive. You don't get to choose whether a dragon throws fire at you. Therefore, the Dex...
Remember, dragons are super high up there. So you can't say that. So let's say if the more general things is like if a Minotaur hits you, that's a lot more common Minotaur stat sheets like that than a dragon is.
But it's much worse to get fully flamed by fire than it is to get knocked prone.
Well, remember,
Dex saves are things you want to make.
Remember, a fire breath of a dragon is worse than a Minotaur hitting you.
No, but
that's general. That's level based. That's all level. It depends on the level.
In general, on all levels.
Not all.
Lower ones will be I didn't get strength. To finish my sentence.
Lower ones will be strength. You're going to say all the levels will be dexterity. The lower ones will be more strength. I haven't finished
my sentence.
I'm just stating fast. The lower ones will be strength. So don't say all of them will be dexed. Because that's not true.
In general, on all levels,
don't say it.
Dex saves
don't say it.
Will be more important to make and more common.
I disagree.
What do you mean?
In the lower...
What's going to be a dex save that's not important to make? You get hit with a snowball? Like, everything that you're making a dex save of is like an explosion.
Well, no, but name one thing low level. You said all the levels. Low level that needs a dex save.
I don't know.
I can name Calyx. Exactly.
But it doesn't matter. How low level are we talking?
I believe it's 1 through 7.
Okay, so the majority of levels will be dex saves. We're talking averages here. Dex saves are more
generally,
important.
You don't play as higher levels as well. So generally, you don't play as the level 20. So 15 and up, you generally don't play. So if we count those odds, I count 7 out of 10 of the times you use strength.
If you're playing Dungeons and Dragons and you're not doing spells that cause dex saves, then you're not doing the fun spells. Fireball causes a dex save.
Remember,
if you're not able to do Fireball, you ain't been playing D&D yet, because that's when D&D gets real.
Wait, what do you mean if you ain't being able to do Fireball?
What do you mean?
Like if you haven't fought Fireball? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying there are the spells that cause Fireball are not that high level. Okay, like you don't have to get that high.
Yeah, no. Well, that's the ability to cast them. I'm not saying things that you fight.
Oh, and things you fight.
Generally, things you fight are like, if a thing has Fireball, that their CR is bumped to like 8 or 9.
Very little anything. Most things cause Constitution saves. Like you may say Dex saves are rare, but Strength saves are rarer. Maybe not in the 1 through 5 range, but
no, the one. Okay. No, but anything that really uses Dex, they're pushing it up to that's like 8 and up for CR. Be anything that has Fireball, you have to be. Everyone has to be strong. You know, they have to be up.
Not literally strength.
What I'm saying is like generally through like the power level of the party has to be capable, because if you have low level people, they're all gonna die because Fireball does stupid damage. Usually at lower level stuff, you're not gonna be doing a bunch of dex things. You're gonna be fighting more physical things at lower levels.
Fine.
Which rhinos, minotaurs,
but you may be, but that doesn't mean they're causing strength saves.
But no, most lower level stat sheets use strength. Knocking down prone.
Okay, but that's like not that big of a deal anyway.
That's for lower level players. It is.
If a strength save is happening, okay, sure, you don't want to get knocked down. If a dex save is happening, you don't want to get hit with the fire breath. That's a big difference. I understand it's high level, but even
I say again, it's higher level.
Can I answer that? Yeah. It's proportionally. So you understand what I mean by that? Even at the higher level, by percentage of strength of player to damage being dealt, it is worse to get hit by the fire breath. Does that make sense?
Yes, I do want to say there are breath weapons that do use strength.
Okay, well, there's breath weapons that use everything, but yes, most of them are dex.
I love the one that you need intelligence.
Yeah.
He shoots.
All right, this has been a long and contentious debate.
Yes.
I really want to see my owl homies pull up and support me on this one.
I want to see the bear homies, the true barbarians, the true physical fighters pull up.
Yeah, whatever. All right. All right. You decide, listeners. This has been a little bit of a longer episode, but it was the Kraken, and
it's a big boy. Next time, we're going to be talking about the King of Monsters, baby.
Yes. So this is the end of the episode. If you have enjoyed our episode, please leave us a review.
Like us.
This is the first time I've said this.
Subscribe us.
I don't think about it, but
help us. We gotta eat, man. We gotta eat.
Well,
please.
Leaving reviews is how we get found. So if you have the time to just leave a 5-star review, of course, then please do so. But with that, we'll leave you to get back to your Dungeons and Dragons. This has been Krakens. Goodbye.
Peace out. Don't get eaten.